All right, and
We're
we're
live.
live.
We're live.
We're live, man. Welcome to American Hammers TV, everyone. I'm your host, Justin Wasick. Roshane, just for a little background, I usually do this show once a week where I talk to a supporter, usually based here in North America, a supporter of the club that West Ham are about to play. And I sort of do an opposition review type of thing. I used to interview guests like yourself that are West Ham or have some sort of connection to the club, but I haven't done that in a while. So it's a nice little refresher to come back and actually talk to someone that actually supports the club I do. But yeah, everyone, welcome to just a regular random show that that I decided to put together. I'm with Roshane Thomas from The Athletic. Roshane, welcome, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, Justin. Much appreciated.
Of course, of course. For those of you who don't know what The Athletic is, you may be living under a rock, but The Athletic is one of the newer. It's been around for what, like 4 or 5 years now overall?
Yeah, in America, I'd say, yeah.
In America, yeah. And then when did the UK version get launched out?
I believe it was August, if I'm not mistaken, early August.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So that I guess you're right. Yeah. So it's been a more recent endeavor by The Athletic.
October, November, 4 months you could say. Yeah, we're in December, in fact. Yeah, so 4 months.
Yeah. Well, like I said before we went live, the coverage by yourself and also some of the other Premier League writers has been excellent. If you guys haven't heard of The Athletic yet or haven't subscribed yet, I would recommend doing so. The Athletic also gives a lot of like deals throughout the year that you could sort of get a reduced rate on the subscription, but definitely worth it.
Last week for Black Friday.
Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah. So I got the one that like if you had, I don't know if the deal's still around, but if you had a friend who was already a subscriber refer you to be a subscriber, it was like, I don't know, 25 or 50% off or something. Yeah, highly recommend. And then Roshane writes for The Athletic, obviously, and he writes on West Ham United. Absolutely, man. So that's where I sort of want to start. When did you become like what has your journey been to becoming a West Ham fan? Were you born into it? Did you learn to love the club later in life? What was it like for you?
Well, growing up, my parents, both of them are Arsenal fans.
Okay.
So I grew up watching a lot of Arsenal games. So I was watching Arsenal games. Then I have a brother as well. He's also he's a West Ham fan, so he'll take me to Upton Park. I'll watch like a lot of matches there and whatnot. And then like when I started my journalism career, because I'm 26 now.
Okay.
So I started my journalism career when I was about, I'd say, 18. And like I go to like a lot of U team games. I'm not sure if you there's a guy at West Ham called Rob Pritchard.
I'm not familiar.
I think he's the content editor at West Ham.
Okay.
But I used to bother him all the time, like to get accreditation to like U team games at Upton Park, because at that age you can't really get access to first team games because you have to be accredited journalist.
Right.
My only access was to like go to like U team games and try and like build a report with like the media team at West Ham. So when I went to cover like West Ham U team games, this is the time when I was like Reece Oxford, Dan Potts, Elliot Lee, George Moncur, like those type of players. So yeah, I was doing that as well. So that happened, and that was a great experience because obviously you gain passion from doing that. You meet a lot of like people like myself who have a passion for journalism, passion for following West Ham.
So I'm assuming bothering Mr. Pritchard eventually paid off for you.
Oh, most certainly.
Nice.
He was able to give me the access to go to these games and gain experience of like covering matches as well. So through there, I went to university. I went to the University for the Creative Arts, and that was in Farnham. So
is that around London?
No, it's about an hour a bit away from London, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, so obviously I'm in London, very busy. Farnham's very quiet town.
Yeah.
Very, very quiet, so it's completely different.
Right.
So I studied sports journalism. I had a great 3 years there. I'm not sure if you know this guy. His name's called Chris Wheatley. Guna Talk.
No, not familiar.
I went to we went to the same uni, so he's doing quite well as well. Another guy called Alex, he's doing well in terms of athletics. So a lot of us have like progressed to do like good things for my in particular. So yeah, study sports journalism.
Oh, you guys all went to the same school?
Yeah, same. Yeah, I was in
Gotcha.
the same year as well for the 3-year course because I started in 2012 and graduated in 2015. So
Okay.
yeah, well, great experience. And like when I was there, I made sure like loads of work experience. Loads of
Right.
work. It reached a point where I was hardly in because I was always on a work placement somewhere, whether it was like the Daily Mirror or whether it was like Talksport or getting experience at like football clubs like Peterborough United, Brighton. I was everywhere pretty much, Justin. I was everywhere.
Hey, that's how you got to do it, man. You gotta grind. You gotta get that experience because obviously a degree is important too, but like the experiences of doing what you want to do, you can't really substitute those out.
Exactly. So while I was there, I got to attend my first game, first game covering West Ham at 13 level. And that was when Laura Birkin was the press officer at West Ham. So I remember it well. It was West Ham against Sheffield United, the cup game.
Okay.
I think I'm right in saying it was the game where Reece Oxford was on the bench. And he was like 15 at the time, 15, 16, one of them.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was great because the atmosphere was amazing. Obviously, you know the history between West Ham and Sheffield United, of course.
Right.
I think I'm right in saying it was the first game since that whole season took place. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago was the first league game, but I think that was like the first like game since the whole controversy took place.
Yeah.
Justin, that game was amazing. Like the atmosphere was incredible. West Ham fans were great, as we know we are as well. Sheffield United fans were giving it back to West Ham fans. So that was great. So yeah, like
and that was at Upton Park.
Yeah, it was Upton Park.
Okay.
Upton Park. So yeah, so looking back now on my journey and whatnot, like everything happened at the right time, sort of thing. So I got my first job, like my first big break, so to speak, at Talksport. And I got that job. Have you heard of Talksport, by the way?
I have, yes.
Okay, so I got that job before I graduated. A lovely, lovely woman by the name of Kay Townsend gave me my chance. Again, I used to email her like all the time, asking for work experience. Like I reached the point where I know I was bothering her. Like I was emailing her so much time. So yeah, and then after Talksport, I went to the Voice newspaper, did a bit of volunteering there, and then I did a bit of freelancing at Sunday Times. Greg Shoffin, and he helped me out big time. And then it was this summer where I was approached by The Athletic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
they wooed you.
Yeah, one of the big writers called Oliver Kay. He put a good word in to my boss, Alex K.
Oh, that's awesome. It's all about who you know, man. It's all about who you know. It's all about connection. That's important.
And that's how the beautiful love affair with West Ham kick-started for this season, of course. So yeah, obviously it's been an up and down season, unfortunately. But I mean, typical West Ham, I guess. That's how it always is.
Typical. A couple interesting things when you were describing your story, or a couple things I want to touch upon. One, your story about like your parents being fans of Arsenal and then you and your brother are fans of West Ham. Stories like that where your parents are one, or maybe you have a sibling that's a fan of a team and then you're a fan of another team. It's actually I've heard several examples of those types of stories amongst English people. And it's always interested me because in America, usually like you're like the family is connected and it's usually a hometown team. So I just find it interesting. That's all. It must be a cultural thing.
Yeah, because I remember as well, right? Because obviously when you're younger, everyone wants to become a footballer. Like that's the dream for everyone, become a footballer.
Right.
And I remember I used to attend this soccer school, and lo and behold, it was at Millwall. And I attended the soccer school there, and like I played on the pitch at Millwall. I had to like wear like the Millwall full kit and whatnot. Yeah, that was like hilarious.
Oh man, yeah, I won't hold it against you. But I'm also interested. Just obviously, you mentioned that you started your journalism career at 18, so there was some obvious love affair with writing. When did you realize like, did you realize, oh shit, like I'm actually pretty good at this? Or was it just like, I really want to, like, what was sort of how did that love affair, that passion grow?
Obviously, it started with football, of course. That was the main goal, to become a footballer. When I realized I wasn't good enough, I thought, why not journalism? And you know what? When I was at secondary school, a teacher by the name of Mr. Lynch, he was like, "You're really good at writing. Like, you should like think of a career like writing." I thought, nah, I'm not really interested in that, you know. But I kept at it, and like he's the type of teacher who would like make me stay behind after school. We'll work on things. In fact, it was him and another teacher called Miss Hatfield. Like they were amazing. Looking back now, like they went the extra mile for me, and that's what I would say like kick-started that passion for writing. And then obviously, as you get older, you start reading newspapers, start looking at magazines, you start having favorite writers. And then, like for me, as like a young black journalist, like the main guy, and still is the main guy, Darren Lewis. And I read a lot of his stuff. I'll see him make appearances on like GMTV and all the other like breakfast shows. And then so this is around like 16, 18 at the time. And I'll like email him for advice. And then like because when I was younger, my thing was I will keep emailing you until you reply back. Like one email is not enough. 2 emails sometimes isn't enough. Like I'll email you like 10 times if I have to. So that was my way of thinking when I was younger. And obviously you got back to me, you gave me advice. And yeah, ever since then, like it's been like leaps and bounds, really. Like it's been amazing ever since. And yeah, all down to the work ethic, being persistent.
Right.
How it's got to be. So it's definitely my English teachers in secondary school which helped kickstart the passion.
Yeah, it's important to have those moments when you're younger where someone instills that confidence in you, and it's, you know, sometimes you forget memories from when you're young, but some of those like really important confidence instilling memories can really stick with you and sort of lead you on a path. That's awesome to hear. But yeah, also being persistent. Like I've been in situations like that. Yeah, you have to contact someone 5-6 times minimum. Otherwise, you know, they may just But yeah, that's great to hear. And how has it been working at the Athletic? How has that experience been for you?
It's been great. Like I'm forever grateful for the opportunity to even have this job, because I mean, there's a lot of talented like writers out here in England, especially London, all like craving for an opportunity. And, you know, thankfully I've been given this task to report on West Ham to the best of my ability. And my sort of mindset in this job is like I'm trying to have the mindset of a singer. So when I say that, I mean like a singer gets judged on the records they put out.
Right.
Sometimes a singer will have like a hit record. Sometimes I have like songs which are like fairly good. So I'm trying to have the mindset where I want to put out articles which are like the equivalent of like a hit record.
Right.
So I feel like since I've started, I've had, a good few articles. I mean, my first ever piece was on Lucas Fabianski. I went to Poland to my childhood, track down people who like played a big role in his childhood, and that was like well received by everyone. So so I'm just trying to like be different in like the stories I cover. Like one of my favorite pieces is a story I've done on like former West Ham players from the academy who now are at Luton Town, and like there's 5 of them in total. Dan Potts, Elliot Lee, Pelly. I forgot the goalkeeper's name, but there's 5 of them in total, and it was really good. Like spoke about what it was like at West Ham when they were growing up. Spoke about Dylan, who passed away unfortunately from and that was really good. And the thing is, like, no one else thought to do that piece. So stuff like that. I've done a piece on John Moncur. You know, who can forget John Moncur, West Ham?
Right.
And like on that piece, right, the idea was to do a piece on the Intertoto Cup because it was the 20th anniversary. I think it was in August. And like I was asking him about it, and then we just started talking about like God. And then like he told me the story and how he became religious. And I thought, my goodness, like, I asked him, like, have you ever like told anyone the story? And he said once. So wow. And that was again got a good reaction. So again, I'm just trying to be different in the stories I cover. And yeah, so far it's been like having like a great reaction, great feedback. I'm just got to keep up, keep putting out good stuff, great content.
Yeah, we have some commenters in our like live comments, and Matthew Howard asks, Roshane, when you are writing, do you find it hard to keep your personal feelings out of the piece?
100%. I mean, especially when West Ham lose. Because it's so easy to get frustrated as well. I mean, like,
although I do have to say that, I mean, sometimes your personal feelings do sort of ooze through the cracks, so to speak, and you can tell, like, okay, Roshane's a bit frustrated today.
Obviously, I remember Oxford United game, and we lost 4-0. And I mean, like, getting to that stadium was like, oh, that journey was so you're making a long journey to get there. The team plays terrible, and then you're just thinking like, because obviously in recent history, like, West Ham haven't really done great in cup competitions. Right. So you're thinking like, come on, let's have a go. Let's try and get to the semi-finals or at least quarterfinals. And so in answer to that question, it's tough. It is tough. I mean, yesterday, for example, against Wolves, oh my goodness, again, like, I feel like the feel-good factor was back from the Chelsea win, and I feel like it was an opportunity missed. So, yeah, it is hard to try and put your feelings to one side because you just want the team to do well. But unfortunately for this season, West Ham not even a bit. We have been inconsistent, but it's typical West Ham, I guess.
Typical. And let's segue into the club. I know this happened a few years ago, and I don't like talking about it because I don't want it to come off as me using it as an excuse. But I wanted to talk to you about the stadium move. What were your thoughts about it at the time? What were your hopes or expectations with this move?
All right. So my initial thought was, I get it. I get the reason behind wanting to move because the opportunity was there to move into what was better known as the Olympic Stadium, 66,000 seater stadium. So best part of 30,000 more fans, you can get more money, match day revenue, more demand for season tickets. So I can get it from a business point of view. In terms of atmosphere, you knew it wasn't going to work. You just knew it wasn't going to work. And obviously, when
you knew that pretty much straight away that it just wasn't going to be. Yeah.
And the board are when we make the move, we're going to compete. We're going to try win the FA Cup. Because looking back on past quotes the other day, and David Gold said we're going to try and compete for a spot in Europe. We're going to try and win the FA Cup. And since the move, I mean, it hasn't led to any sort of on-field success, unfortunately. And because the other day I went back to the Bowling Tavern pub, which is 5 minutes away from Upton Park.
Yeah, I went to that pub when I visited.
Yeah, really have a chat with fans, see what they're saying. A lot of fans are I've been to London Stadium once. I'm not going back. I've stopped following West Ham because of the stadium move. And let's say I spoke to 10 fans. Probably out of the 10 fans, 2 were happy with the move. More than half were upset about the move and still are upset to this day. And I feel it's a thing which still fans will never accept the London Stadium. Upton Park will forever be the home for West Ham. But on the flip side of things, if the board never made that move, would you have signed Sebastian Haller? Would you have signed Felipe Anderson? Would you have signed Issa Diop? Would you have attracted Manuel Pellegrini? So you have pros and cons regarding the stadium move. I feel they even itself out, but on the whole, it hasn't really worked out well so far in terms of on-field success.
Yeah, I mean that's obvious. I think anyone can see that. I think the pros and cons argument is something that not a lot of people mention because everyone focuses on the cons, which is easier to do because since we've moved to the London Stadium, the results have been inconsistent. The winning has not been consistent. And I've always said that winning cures all. If we had used the momentum from the last season at the Bowen, carried that in, maybe, who knows, Payet, what if he stayed? You never know how – but if we won consistently, I feel people would – this would be less of a talking point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was looking back on it. I think I tried to look at the final league positions the West Ham have finished. I think in the first season, I think it was 12th, and then the following season it was 13th, and then last season I think it was 9th. So we haven't even
it was 10th last year.
Sorry, 10th. We finished same level on points with Leicester. In fact, I think it was 52 points we finished level with Leicester with.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's we haven't even secured a top 7 finish or top 6 finish since moving.
Yeah.
So it's a shame, and I feel even looking down who we signed, the right personnel haven't been brought in. There's been a lot of emphasis on getting attacking players in, a lot of fair players. like
you mentioned that too, Roshane.
yeah.
You mentioned that. You mentioned in an article that I read last night how even before this London Stadium move, David Golden Sullivan have focused a lot on signing attacking players, and really the net spend of the defenders of the back four, at least, I believe it was Cresswell, Diop,
Fredericks. No, Fredericks. I think he was a free.
Fredericks was a free, yeah. So it was like 37. It was like 37 million pound, and I mean that's not really. You see teams that are buying. I mean, well, for Liverpool, I mean they paid 70 million for Van Dijk, but then you also have other. You have other. I mean Tyrone Mings, 20 million pound. You know, there's other examples as well.
Yeah. Like other teams like that want to like have Europe League like ambitions, like West Ham teams like. Well, they're doing great now, but like Leicester spent well on defenders. You have like Everton. Everton spent money on like Yerry Mina, Lucas Ding. I believe the name's pronounced Lucas Ding, the left back. I'll probably pronounce his name wrong, but the left back, they spent a lot of money on him as well. Bournemouth spent a lot of money on Nathan Ake. So you're thinking like, if you look at like West Ham's defense, Fredericks free transfer, Zabaleta. I think it was a free transfer, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
And if you look at right back, when was the last time West Ham had a really good right back?
Yeah, and your team of the decade, you put Joey O'Brien in there.
I was thinking, when was the last time? And there was
I laughed at it, and I was like, I disagree with that. I'm like, well, who really is there to? Yeah, so
Alvaro Arbeloa, there's been Sam Byron.
Oh Jesus!
You know what I mean? So you're thinking like. And there's no way I'll put in Mikel Antonio right back.
Although he did play decent at the position, but yeah, definitely don't put him there.
Look at centre half. Obviously, you have Fabian Balbuena, you have Issa Diop, you have Winston Reid, who's coming back from a long-term injury. You have Angela Bognar as well. I feel like he's been good this season so far.
He's my hammer of the year so far.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him so far. Left back, you have Cresswell. You have Arthur Masuaku, and then like the defense, like when you think about it, it's not like an amazing player, you know what I mean, that stands out. So there definitely needs to be more emphasis on bringing in like quality defenders, because like this season West Ham have been terrible when it comes to like conceding goals from set pieces. Absolutely terrible.
And they gave up one last night.
And that was down to Fredericks. It was Fredericks' fault because he wasn't getting tired to I forgot it was
it was Dendoncker.
Yeah, Dendoncker. And obviously we were linked to him. We were linked to him.
Yeah, I know. Believe me, that's the first thing I thought of when he scored. And it was it just dribbled into the net too. It was such a weak goal.
Yeah, I mean, so frustrating. And I mean, they could have scored more goals from set pieces because West Ham was just defending terrible. It was absolutely terrible. So yeah, I mean, yes, it's not a good look at all. And because for the press conference last week, I was like to Pellegrini. No, not last week, on Tuesday. Sorry, I was like to Pellegrini, like the win against Chelsea was the first time since the win over Man United where we kept a clean sheet. Like, must be a concern. We're not keeping enough clean sheets.
Yeah, and I think that's a worrying stat in and of itself. It's sort of like, you can't win even if you give up a goal here and there. Like, you have to keep a clean sheet in order to win, and you don't keep that many clean sheets to begin. And also, I was watching the game yesterday, and the announcers stated that West Ham had lost. Now it was 9. Now it's 10. West Ham had lost their last 10 games. Lost their last 10 games when scoring or when allowing the opponent to score first. Yeah, and what that says to me is that there's no confidence, there's no fight, there's no belief that, okay, we're down, there's no comeback at all.
None at all. And it's like, you can't even see this team scoring goals. That's the thing. You can't see the team scoring goals at all. We're like completely like bereft of confidence. Yesterday, right? I was watching Haller, especially in the second half. I was like, this guy is coming way too deep to achieve the ball. He's not making runs in behind the defense. He's not staying in the box to like try and be a predator. Fornals, I was criticizing Fornals at first, but he's starting to grow in confidence. I've noticed in the last couple of games.
A little bit, yeah. He had a great pass to Snodgrass. He should have
scored. Yeah, he definitely should have scored that goal. So he's slowly growing in confidence. But I noticed like if you like compare and contrast the performance against Chelsea to the performance against Wolves, the reason why it works so well is because there was that high pressing which you have from Antonio. Antonio has so much pace, like he brings so much like enthusiasm and intensity to this team. And like when he's pressing, the likes of Fornals and Snodgrass will press as well because we've seen it from Antonio. Against Wolves, they're not going to press because Haller doesn't really have much. He's not really, he's not mobile enough. He's very static, so he's not going to be running around after lost courses because it's not part of his game. And it's like, again, like Yarmolenko came on in the second half, right? And I remember there was one moment it was like to Fredericks, like pass me the ball, pass me the ball. Fredericks passed Yarmolenko the ball, and like his first touch was absolutely terrible. It terrible went out for like a throw. I was thinking to myself, like, you're trying to take a game to being a team here. Like you should be playing a lot better than this. So yeah, so it's very
and he lost the ball too. That led to the second
goal.
Yeah,
well. exactly. So yeah, the team is bereft of confidence right now, and it says a lot about relying on Mikel Antonio to like be like the savior for West Ham. And this guy like from I think like a 3-month layoff from a hamstring injury. So we can't really be. We have to be cautious because we don't want to get injured again.
Right.
We have to like be cautious with the number of minutes he plays. But yeah, it's a big concern. It really is a big concern.
Let's talk about Haller a bit because obviously you remember we were linked with Maxi Gomez and we really tried to get him. We almost did. And believe me, if we signed Maxi Gomez, I would have been all in. I would have supported him. You know, in Pellegrini, we trust at that point. But at the beginning of last summer, I was just doing some research on some strikers for a show that we were doing on this channel. And I stumbled across a man named Sebastian Haller. And I looked up his stats and I looked up his highlights and I read about him. And I said, this is the guy that we need to get. I said the whole summer, I would love Maxi Gomez, but Haller's the guy, Haller's the guy, Haller's the guy. When we got him, so excited, thought he was going to – I predicted him to get 14 goals this year. Yeah. And he started off so brightly, yet has faded. A lot of people have said it's because – of the way Pellegrini plays, because Haller is up top on his own and he's usually playing with a partner when he was successful. Yeah. However, okay, I understand that argument. However, he was successful in that formation in the first handful of games of the year. So what is it? What do you think?
What is it? Well, in his defense, I do feel like it is down to the system to a degree because I remember there was a preseason game away at Fulham. And I was like, this 4-2-1-3 formation is not working. Like, we're not getting the best out of Haller in this formation because often he's isolated. He's like fairly anonymous in games. He's not providing anything like meaningful. And when he's on the ball, it's like mainly hold up play, pass it to someone on the flanks, and then run in the box, and that's it. So I've seen people say like we should play like two up front, Haller and Antonio. And I asked Pellegrini this in the press conference, but he didn't really seem keen to do it because if you look back on like Pellegrini's like formation he's played at his other clubs, it's always been like 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-1-1. It's always been one striker at top. Yeah. Or like he's not going to change his ways. Pellegrini can be very stubborn. He's not going to change his ways. Like that's what he's with. So I do get my defense, but I feel like he's got to look at himself in the mirror and be like, I need to like contribute more to this team. I need to up my work rate. I need to do more. I need to run around. I need to chase lost causes. Be a nuisance to defenders because like yesterday it was just too easy for the Wall defenders. Like they're like probably the easiest game we had defending. No real like bother whatsoever. Like, it's so frustrating watching because this is West Ham's club record signing. 45 million was spent on Haller. And you're thinking like if this is what he's gonna offer, we should have brought back. No, we should have gave Andy Carroll another contract. We gave Andy Carroll another contract.
Elise Haller can actually is fit to play. But
I personally think that the person who gets the best out of him in this team is Antonio. I feel like Antonio gets the best out of him.
It sure looked like that at Stamford Bridge. And I do agree with you on the work rate. I thought it was a little lacking at times yesterday. And yes, he may not be playing in his ideal system, but again, going back to my point, he was successful in the first handful of games. And at the end of the day, the only thing you can control 100% of the time is your work rate, is, you know, how much energy you're given. And I do think that, and sticking on that point, in that game, I remember watching it, and it was like the 89th, 90th minute. Wolves were up 2-0, and they were pressing high still. They were attacking the ball, attacking Felipe with 3 players, just pressing him in his own half. And I'm like, we had not done that one time the entire 90 minutes, even when it was 0-0. And it's just like,
you know what? It's odd because I think it was around the 80th minute, right? Pellegrini took off Alera and put on a Jetty on.
I did not understand that at all. You're down 1-0. How do you put on another striker?
I mean, like, go to up front the last 10 minutes and try your luck. Because I've noticed in the game against Tottenham and Newcastle, in the last 20 minutes, we've looked good. Like, that's when our comeback has been on. Like, we scored 2 goals. So I was thinking, surely we could try something similar. The last 10, 15 minutes, try and bring 2 strikers up front, try and change the game. But for some reason, Pellegrini opted for 1 striker again. So, and the thing is, right, when you ask Pellegrini these questions in, like, his post-match press conference, he's not going to criticize a player. He'll be like, oh, we could have done well. He'll give you like a politician's answer. He'll be like, oh, yeah, we could have done well. Yeah, we should have done this better. We should have done that better. Like, come on, like, take ownership. So-and-so did rubbish. Like, call them out when it's time to call them out. So, yeah, that was very unfortunate because, lo and behold, 6 minutes after that, Wolves scored. 2-0, game was over.
Game over. Yeah. So you're in those pressers interviewing Manuel, right?
Yeah, in the press conference, I'm asking all the questions. So yesterday, my first question was to him, like, what went wrong? I haven't got like the quotes in front of me right now, but I was asking him, like, what went wrong? I asked him why he took off LF for Jetty. I asked him, like, is he concerned about the lack of intensity and pace when Antonio's not in the team? He was asked about Snodgrass, if he's injured, if he's like injured out for Arsenal. He said he reckon he'll be fine. He was asked about like if it's like 2 steps forward, like 1 step back, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So he's asked like those type of questions. So and for me, it does feel like a missed opportunity again because the feel-good factor was back from Chelsea. It was back. Like everyone was buzzing, everyone was happy, especially when you think about David Martin. He was brought in to replace the injury-prone Roberto. There was such a feel-good factor. Everyone was on like cloud 9, and then typical West Ham, they spoiled it.
And I thought he had a good game on Wednesday as well.
Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, very unfortunate. And again, Arsenal Monday, and I'm not optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all.
They're playing right now, aren't they?
Yeah, they're playing. I think Brighton, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm looking. It's 0-0.
Oh, okay.
32nd minute.
Both teams are in terrible form, so you know what I mean. It could be a 0-0 again.
You know what? It would be though. It would be classic West Ham to have Arsenal not win this game, and I think that would be 2 months without a win for them, and then they'd play West Ham and get 3 points.
Right, remember this, right? The Everton game. Marco Silva was under so much pressure. If we had beat West Ham, I'm telling you, he would have been sacked the very end.
We just delayed it about a month or so. He's gone now.
I mean, all the pressure was at Everton in the build-up to that match. And I think I'm right in saying Everton were like in a relegation zone at the time. West Ham went around like maybe 12th, maybe. And it looked like it was Everton who were in 12th and West Ham who were like in a relegation zone. That's how bad the performance was.
Yeah.
Come on, guys! Like when you want to like kick on and build on, the team is like lets you down. It's so frustrating. There's no consistency whatsoever in this team. None whatsoever. I mean, the last back-to-back wins was against, I think I'm right in saying it was against Watford and Norwich. And that was like August, September time, 2.5 months ago. You know what I mean?
And they're the 2 worst teams in the league as well.
Exactly. So, I mean, yeah, very, 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 very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. So, a lot of people calling for Pellegrini to go, saying Pellegrini out. You know, for me personally, I feel like my biggest frustration with Pellegrini, he's very stubborn. That's my biggest frustration with him. Very stubborn. When he wanted to make a change, he won't do it. For months, we've been saying, this formation is not working. Make a change. And when his job's on the line against Chelsea, he wants to make a change. And lo and behold, look, 1-0. Arguably the best performance of the season, you can say. Again. And you know what? I forgot to say, his press conference after, right, he was like full of confidence. One of the reporters asked him, like, Pellegrini, like, it's good to see you. He was like, oh, what? You didn't expect to see me?
Yeah. I saw that, yeah.
I'll be here. And he asked one of, like, the Sky broadcasters, like, am I still favourite for the sack? Like, I was thinking, wow, you're full of confidence today, Manuel. You're not really like this. And look now, he's back to being bland Pellegrini because he's under pressure again. So,
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. So obviously the Chelsea result bought him some time.
Yeah.
But now back to where we were essentially last week. What are your thoughts in terms of when he could potentially get sacked? Are you giving him an X amount of games? Do you think he'll get to the end of the year? What do you think the owners are going to do? What are your thoughts around it?
About a week and a half ago, I was doing like a live Q&A, and I told one of the fans, I was like, I'll give him until the Wolves game to try and turn it around. And obviously, the Wolves game yesterday, so I don't feel like the board. Well, I'm led to believe he still retains the backing of the board. But for me personally, if we lose our next 2 games, he has to go after the Southampton game.
Absolutely.
So like, I can't see him like staying after that. And the thing is, right after the Southampton game, we have a situation where it's almost like our little international break, like a mini international. Because
a 12-day break, right?
12-day break. So I mean, if there was a time to make a change, that is the time.
Absolutely.
Make a change. So he has two more games to save his job, because anything but a win the next 2 games, then it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to see him turn it around.
What if you get an Arsenal loss and a Southampton draw?
Yeah, no, I can see him staying. I can see him saying if it's Arsenal and Southampton draw. I can see that. The thing is, right, he's on such a high salary that the board, it's not in their interest to sack him, because he'll get a huge payoff. It's not in their interest to sack him whatsoever.
Right.
So, in an ideal scenario, Pellegrini will see his contract until the end of next season. We give him like a farewell, say thank you very much for what you've done. And then my thing is, in the event he does get sacked, or even if he sees out his contract, we should try to get an up-and-coming manager. Because try to go for the big name, it hasn't really worked. Mm-hmm. Try to become a manager. I mean, I've seen like Rafa Benitez has been linked. We're led to believe at the effect. We're led to believe he doesn't want a job. He's not interested. So let's get someone like for me, I love Chris Wilder. I think Chris Wilder's doing great stuff at Sheffield United. I think he's. I think I'm right in saying they're in like the top 7, top 6 right now.
Yeah, they're losing right now, I think.
Oh no, that's not good.
No, not to try to. I have a friend back here in Chicago. He used to. Yeah, they're losing 1-0, 64th minute. He worked at Sheffield United for an internship a bit, because he got his master's at the university there, and he's been, even before the season, he said, Chris Wilder, watch out for Sheffield United. Now, my only question is, I believe he's a supporter of Sheffield United. I don't know what connection he has to the club. I don't know if he played for them back in the day, but why would he ever come to West Ham though? Given the
it's true. Given the lack of longevity managers have, I mean.
Also, the rivalry too. They don't really. Sheffield United doesn't really like us.
That's a good shout. That is a good shout. Because I was looking into it under David Gordon, David Sullivan, who, bear in mind, next January will be 10 years since they've been in co-ownership with the club. 19th January will be 10 years. So since they've been in co-ownership, the average tenure for a manager is 647 days, which is just under 2 years. That is the average tenure for a manager at West Ham. The longest manager they've had is Sam Allardyce, who's there for about 4 years, I think.
Yeah, I think you were writing that article. Yeah, it was like 1,400 days or something.
That's how long he was there for. I mean, Manuel he's in it for what, a year and a half. I think British was about a year and a half roughly as well. So it's not really long. The West Ham job. He's not number 2. To your question, that is a good point you make. Why would he want to come to West Ham when he has everything from Sheffield United? So if we were looking for managers who have some sort of link, I know we're in the early stages of their managerial career, but Lee Bowyer, Scott Parker, they both previous connection with the club. They both know what it means to be a West Ham player, what it means for the fans. But again, they're up and coming managers, so they don't really have the experience like other, established managers will have, because Charlton and Fulham respectively. So they're my pick as up and coming managers, because I just like them a lot, and I feel like they're gonna do so well. And there's a saying in America where you're well, I'm not sure if you're a fan of ESPN, but I watch it religiously. And Stephen A. Smith always says, your upside is tremendous. He always has that saying, your upside is tremendous. Yeah. And for me, that's how I see those two. The upside is so high. So I would like those two to be in the front running, because I've seen Eddie Howe been linked. And for me personally, I'm not really a fan of Eddie Howe. I think he's overrated. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think we disagree there because Eddie Howe would be my top choice actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it is, and um, it, it's not. It's because he has taken a team of Bournemouth stature,
Yeah.
brought him up to the Premier League, and not only has he brought him up to the Premier League, he's kept him there for now what 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
They are an established Premier League side,
Yeah.
and the reason why I think a team with sort of the lack of financial backing that Bournemouth does compared to other teams is that the reason why they stay up and they stay up relatively I don't really think they've ever really been in a relegation battle. Is I think he has built this consistent culture, this consistent identity. Players know what is expected of them.
Yeah.
The tactics are flexible at times, but more of the same. They are the same more often than not.
Yeah.
Another person that comes to mind is Sean Dyche. I don't think he plays that lovely of soccer, but he certainly has also built that type of culture and identity that maybe those up and coming managers like a Scott Parker or a Lee Boyer, who, like you say, know the club. Like Eddie Howe's a Bournemouth man, right? So someone that knows the club, that can establish an identity that is aligned with the club, and someone that can actually have some time to build something through the thick and thin, not just 600 and whatever days.
Someone who's going to like integrate youth into the team, because there's a lot of talented players in the under 23s who deserve a chance, and we haven't really seen that. Well, it was nice to see Nathan Holland make his Premier League debut yesterday against Wolves, but we want to see more players as well get that pathway to the first team. But in response to your the way you spoke about Eddie Howe, I just want to say, like, my biggest hunch of him is I just don't think he's great at developing players. You look at Tyrone Mings, fair enough, he was like had his injury problems there. He's gone to Aston Villa and now he's in the England squad. You look at someone like the young French striker who's now at Sheffield United. He was like
Mousset.
Yeah, he was always coming off the bench at Bournemouth. Now he's doing great stuff at Sheffield United. You look at Jordan Ibe, he's regressed a lot since he's been at Bournemouth. I'm thinking of Lewis Cook, haven't really seen much of him. So that's my only biggest problem with Eddie Howe. Like, I don't feel like he's great at developing players. There's probably more, but I can't think of the others off the top of my head. I remember Roshane was there on loan, didn't really have a great loan spell. So, but I'd imagine those who are like well connected with Bournemouth will have a different opinion. They'll have a different opinion.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. So moving forward, whether Pellegrini gets sacked or not, we'll have to wait and see. What, as of where we stand right now, what are your expectations for this season? Is it simply at this point just to stay up? Is it, the table's pretty tight in the middle? Is it still trying to get that top 7? What would result in a successful season for you?
Well, first and foremost, I still have like full confidence the team will stay in the Premier League. I don't feel like we should be like concerned about having to like secure our Premier League status for another term. I feel like we'll definitely stay up. So I see fans saying, "Oh, we're in a relegation fight." No, we're fine. We'll stay up, because if you look at the table, it is so tight this season, Justin. It is so tight. Literally, like 16th to like 5th is like 3 points, 3 or 4 points. It's like one of the seasons in a long time. So for me, if we can get like top 8, top 7, anything to prove off from last season will be good in my eyes. If we can have a good cup run in the FA Cup with Jordan Gillingham in the third round, so that's a decent tie. Hopefully, we'll progress to the 4th round. So a decent cup run, a top 7 to top 8 finish, I'll be happy with that. And I feel like the team
that's still possible, I think, too.
The team can still do that in my eyes. Obviously, it remains to be seen if Pellegrini will be at the helm by then, or if he won't be at the helm by then. So I feel like that will be, that will play a massive role whether the team can achieve that or not.
Yeah, we'll see. And Gabrielle just commented, "How about Kovac?" I'm assuming she's talking about Niko Kovac, the former He did manage former Frankfurt manager, I believe, right? Didn't he manage?
Manage Halle as well. Yeah, he would be a good shout. He would be a good shout. He can get the best out of him. He can get him.
Yeah, he already has.
But I see people like they're not like they don't have much faith in the board in getting right appointment. And I can see why fans are concerned about whether the board will get it right or not, because like when you think about David Moyes, right? I know like he's not like a big name manager when you think about it. He's not like a Pellegrini or Rafa Benitez, but if you look at his time at West Ham, he got the job done.
Yes.
He put Arnautovic up front, and lo and behold, Arnautovic was scoring goals. You know what I mean? Lo and behold, Arnautovic was scoring goals. The defense were keeping clean sheets. And bear in mind, he done this all on like a limited budget. A limited budget on hardly any money was spent.
Yeah.
So I feel like a little bit he was hard done by a little bit, because he only got to see it until the end of the season, and perhaps he should have been given like a 1 year, not even a 1 year, like a 2 year deal, see where we could have gone underneath him. So I feel like he was hard done by a little bit. And he's been as well with the job as well.
Yeah. And then I think he's going to go to Everton, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think he will. And he did do wonders at Everton, too. I mean, he was there for 10 plus years.
And you know what? Some fans don't want him back. Some Evertonians, they don't want him back.
I know. And it's a shame because, he had a tough time of it at United. But I think if he was actually given some time, they would have improved a bit. And Sunderland, he took them straight down. I think for West Ham, getting Moyes back literally would be a step backward. I mean, it literally would. And I'm not saying he's a bad manager. There are much worse managers we can get. But, I mean, I don't know. I personally wouldn't like it because, again, I think it's literally a step backward. But I'm still holding out hope that Pellegrini can dig through this somehow and figure it out.
Because, like I said, I like Pellegrini. I like him. Although sometimes he can be a bit bland in his press conferences, you want him to have a bit more personality behind it. But that's just the way it is. And you know what? The other day he was like, he can still manage the next 10 years. Bear in mind, he's 66 already, so he'll be 76 in 10 years' time. So I'm thinking, okay, fair use to Manuel, fair uses. I just want, all you have to do is stop being stubborn, make the right changes at the right time, and we can do it. He showed against Chelsea that he can make the tough calls when it's needed. So that's what we want to see. We want to see him do that on a regular basis. So, but again, it's tough. 2 tough games coming up. Monday's going to be a huge game. Huge game.
Well, yeah, we shall see.
Yeah.
Roshane, I think we'll wrap it up. But man, it was really great talking to you. It's really lovely getting to know you, and I'm looking forward to following along with all your content on The Athletic. And for those of you that are watching now, again, if you didn't catch it at the beginning, Roshane works for The Athletic. It's a great publication. I would recommend everyone to subscribe. Great content for any type of sport, really. And the UK coverage has really expanded and doing great. Roshane, thanks so much, man. I'm sure we'll talk again sometime soon.
When we win the Premier League, I'll be back on the show. We'll talk about
I don't think you're ever coming back on if you're going to wait till then.
Yeah, honestly, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Yeah, this is a new friendship has been formed now. So, yeah.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, we'd love to have you back on. Maybe I'm backpacking through South America in January, but maybe after that sometime we'll catch up and hopefully we'll have more positive things to say.
Yeah, most certainly. Yeah, no worries at all. I'll stay in touch.
All right, man. All right. Take care.
You too.